Welcome into another episode of the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast here on Sports Illustrated. I'm your host, Tom Cavanaugh. Follow me at TCAV30 on Twitter/X and follow our insider pages at UCLA Insider on SI, both on Twitter/X and on Facebook. Today, we're going to be recapping the Bruins' dominant 36-point win, taking down Prairie View A&M, handling business at home. It was a wire-to-wire victory. They were up big at halftime, 53-36, and they finished out with another 58 points in the second half. Their best offensive performance of the year. They had never scored 100 this season. They do so and some. 5 different players in double figures. It was a great day for so many different Bruins, and they continue to improve and really polish up those points of emphasis and areas of improvement from their lone loss back in the second game of the year against New Mexico. Looking at it as a team, UCLA really couldn't miss. They were 59% from the field, 36 of 61, and they were also 47% from deep, 10 of 21 from downtown. Dylan Andrews led the way from three-point range. He was 3 of 4. Sky Clark, he was 2 of 3 from downtown. Eric Daly Jr. had 2 as well. Trent Perry, Dominic Harris, Tyler Bilodeau all had 1 apiece. A lot of good stuff from the Bruins from deep, something they had really struggled with this year. And your top scorer, Dylan Andrews, 8 of 12 shooting overall, 21 points, a season high, and also a season high in assists with 6. Dylan continues to be an improving piece of this team. And ever since that loss to New Mexico, he's really, reevaluated himself. And Coach Cronin really has gotten on him in the last couple of games, helping him to, go to the rim more, score more baskets, take the ball in his hand a little bit more than what he was asked to do the last couple of years. And he is, up there with Tyler Bilodeau and Eric Daly Jr. right now as like the top impact players of this team. Not to mention Bilodeau and Daly brought up the rear when it comes to top scoring. Bilodeau, 5 of 6 overall. He was 7 of 7 from the free throw line. Got to the line a bunch. Trent Perry went 6 times. He had 11 points for a season high. Shout out the true freshman Trent Perry. But it was really Bilodeau and Perry getting to the line. Adai Mara went 4 times, hit 3 of them. Bruins were 29 of 37 from the free throw line, good enough for 78%. So Cronin will probably like that number to be a little bit higher, but still pretty solid. But Bilodeau, 4 assists, 4 rebounds on those 18 points. Eric Daly Jr., the sophomore forward, 14 points, 4 rebounds, 2 assists. He took a ton of shots. He was 5 of 13 overall. Sky Clark chipped in with 8, and Kobe Johnson, another great game. 4 of 7 shooting for 12 points, had 5 rebounds and 7 assists. I thought the 7 assists was going to be a season high, but no, he had 8 earlier this season. Also had 3 steals. There's never a game where Kobe Johnson doesn't have 2 to 4 steals, maybe even more, continuing to impact the game in a ton of ways. He's a lot of fun to watch. One of my favorite players when I'm watching this Bruins team, just because of his activity off the ball when the ball is not in his hands trying to score. William Kyle III, the junior from South Dakota State, he had 4 points. As we mentioned, Adai Mara, he had 9 with 10 rebounds, nearly a double-double. And shout out Trent Perry for that season high, 11 points. Lazar Stefanovic, he had a couple of buckets, finished with 9 points, 3 rebounds. And Dominic Harris, he had 5 as well. So scoring up and down the board. Sebastian Mack, who didn't play a ton of minutes, he had 3 minutes in the ball game. Didn't foul it. Very interesting that Sebastian didn't play a ton. He didn't have any points, 0, but only 3 minutes played. So a head scratcher there. Going to have to take a look at Mick Cronin's comments post-game and see what the reasoning was for Mack not to be in there. And they did a great job on the offensive glass, or overall, really. 39 rebounds, out-rebounding the Panthers by 16. Also pulled down a dozen offensive rebounds and forced 17 turnovers. When you couple the offensive boards and the turnovers, it equals second chance opportunities. Bruins took 10 more shots than the Panthers did. They took 61. Prairie View just 51. So when you have those two stats and you win both battles in the turnover and offensive glass game, you're going to take more shots, which gives you a higher chance to score more baskets, which gives you a higher chance to win the game. So I think that's a real big point of emphasis for this Bruins team going forward. Focusing on turnovers and offensive boards, you win those categories, you usually win the game, unless the other team's, 60% from the field like the Bruins were tonight, posting 111 points. Really impressive stuff from UCLA because they had kind of been known. Obviously a rising team climbing into the top 20 as they're ranked 18th right now, but not the best scoring team in the land. And they're kind of starting to put those doubters to shame at the moment. I know they played Prairie View A&M, who was 1-10, but you still got to make the baskets. So seeing UCLA come off a performance like that, it's only going to bode well for them when they travel to Madison Square Garden, NYC, taking on the North Carolina Tar Heels this Saturday. They're going to get 3 days off, and they'll be back to it on Saturday, facing another strong team. Now, North Carolina's had a tough schedule. They're 6-5 right now. They've had losses to Michigan State. They just lost to number 7 Florida the other day, on Tuesday they did. So, I mean, it's been some bad beats, kind of like the Arizona game when the Wildcats were coming in with a 4-4 record, just really struggling, but had played Duke, A&M, a bunch of really good teams. Same thing goes here for the Tar Heels. They have some of the best players in the nation. They're always going to give anybody a tough fight, and the UCLA Bruins are going to definitely stack up well, but it's going to be a lot better talent than what they've seen in the last couple of games. I'd say North Carolina is probably a little better than Arizona, and I'd also say they're comparable with what the Bruins saw when they played the Oregon Ducks. It's going to be a great game. Cannot wait for that Saturday. We're going to have the same sort of game post-game coverage, and that's just another game for this Bruins team to prove why they're a top 10, top 15 team in the country, and the more wins that they stack heading into Big Ten time, it's only going to gain them more confidence heading into their first year in the conference. Going to be a lot of fun to watch them tip off this Saturday. Then they play Gonzaga, who is ranked, I think, 13th now. Gonzaga dropped a few spots after losing to UConn. And then you start Big Ten play up January 4th against Nebraska on the road. That should be a great one. Cannot wait. This has been the UCLA Bruins Insider Podcast. I'm Tom Cavanaugh, your UCLA Bruins Insider. Follow me at TCAV30 on Twitter/X. And also follow our insider pages at UCLA Bruins on SI, both on Twitter/X and Facebook. Thanks so much, everybody. We will see you again tomorrow.